They say every nation has a heartbeat, but America's heartbeat doesn't echo, it whispers. And those whispers live inside a mansion the whole world recognizes, yet almost no one truly understands. You ever walk past a house and feel like it's watching you? Like the walls have seen too much, heard too much, endured too much to ever be just brick and paint? That's the White House. People look at it like it's a postcard. Clean, polished, perfect. But if you listen closely, really listen, you'll hear something else. A heartbeat, a whisper. A history that didn't survive in textbooks, only in the shadows. And that's the version of the story I want to tell you tonight. The one they keep polished, sealed, and buried. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and join Legacy Untold. Because what we uncover here is not the history they wanted you to memorize. It's the history they hoped you'd forget. So picture this, late 1700s. Washington, D.C. wasn't the marble dream you see today. It was mud, it was mosquitoes, it was fog rising off the Potomac like breath from some sleeping giant. Locals avoided this place. Indigenous tribes warned it was restless land. Swampy, unstable, unpredictable. Not the kind of place you pick to build a nation's heart. But George Washington stood there, boots sinking into wet earth, staring at nothing but wilderness, and he said, "Here. Right here. This will be our capital." He saw symbolism, a new nation rising from nothing, but everyone else, they just saw swamp. The mansion itself, the one we call the White House, started with hands most Americans never hear about. Not the founding fathers, not the great architects, enslaved workers, indentured laborers, immigrants fleeing hunger, men who hauled massive stones under blistering sun, carved wood until their hands bled, and slept on dirt floors with the wind howling through half-built walls. They didn't dream of stepping inside the finished house. They just hoped to survive long enough to see it completed. And here's the part the textbooks don't say. Strange things happened as they built it. Tools vanished, stones cracked overnight, workers felt watched. Some swore they heard whispers where there were no people. It got so bad that rumors spread. The mansion was cursed, not by ghosts, but by the contradiction of what it represented. A house meant to symbolize freedom, built on the backs of the unfree. Then came James Hoban, the Irish architect. Calm voice, confident stride, dressed like a man who knew exactly what he wanted. But even he made choices that raised eyebrows. Thick walls where thin ones would do. Blind corners. Doorways just slightly misaligned. Tunnels dug for reasons he never clearly explained. It was as if he knew the building needed places to hide things, or maybe hide people. By the time John Adams moved in as the first president, the mansion was so unfinished it felt like stepping into the bones of a giant creature still coming alive. The wind slipped through open gaps and made the hallways whistle at night. The place was cold, echoing. Adams used to walk the empty rooms at night, candle in hand, muttering prayers. He could feel it, the weight of something much bigger than politics pressing down on him. He once said he hoped only wise and honest men would rule there, but even he sensed the truth. The house itself wouldn't always attract the wise or the honest. And then, just when the mansion began to feel like a home, it burned. 1814. British soldiers marched into Washington, set the White House on fire, and walked away watching the flames devour everything. Imagine that night, the sky glowing red, wood crackling like gunfire, paint bubbling as the house screamed in heat. It should have been the end, but as the flames reached their peak, a storm tore through the city, raining so hard it drowned the fire and saved the charred skeleton. People said it was luck. Others said fate wouldn't let the symbol die. But when workers came back to rebuild, they found things under the rubble. Tunnels, hidden pockets, strange little rooms that shouldn't have existed. Hoban came back and quietly expanded them. He never explained why. And that mystery settled into the house like a secret nobody wanted to ask about. By the Civil War, the mansion wasn't just a house anymore. It was a pressure cooker. Lincoln walked those halls with shoulders weighted by a breaking nation. He paced at night, listening to distant cannons, hearing murmurs in the corridors that no one could explain. Servants whispered about cold spots, shadowy figures, and footsteps that stopped outside Lincoln's bedroom door. Mary Todd Lincoln believed spirits touched her at night. Guards refused certain night shifts. People said the house absorbed the sorrow of the war and held onto it. Time moved on, and the mansion grew downward. Every administration built more beneath it. New tunnels, safe rooms, storage chambers no one fully understood. By the time World War II arrived, the basement felt like an underground city. Roosevelt transformed it into the nerve center of the free world. The map room, the place where the fate of millions was decided, existed in secret. No signs, no labels. Just a door and a guard and the hum of history whispering behind it. Churchill walked in and out like a ghost. Roosevelt rolled into the room in his wheelchair with the weight of continents on his shoulders. World leaders plotted battles over maps pinned with red lines while ordinary Americans slept in their beds completely unaware. And after the war, the secrets didn't stop. They multiplied. The Cold War dragged fear deeper into the mansion's foundations. New tunnels were dug, some documented, others not. Panic rooms were reinforced. Secret escape routes appeared on old construction plans, then vanished from new ones. Electricians found wires that led nowhere. Crews renovating the mansion under Truman discovered hollow walls, sealed doors, and staircases that ended abruptly in cement. A blueprint of the White House was never a guarantee because parts of the house kept changing, shifting, hiding. Servants knew the truth better than anyone. They saw the late-night visitors. They heard the arguments presidents never recorded. They cleaned up after meetings that never happened. They watched documents burn quietly in fireplaces. They noticed when certain rooms were suddenly locked for months. The house remembers everything, even when the public does not. And here's the part most people never realize. Every president enters the White House thinking they're in control. But after a few nights alone in that enormous building, they learn the real lesson. They don't shape the White House. The White House shapes them. It whispers to them. It weighs on them. It hands them secrets they can't unhear. Some leave older than they entered. Some leave quieter. Some leave broken. Because the White House was never built for honesty or transparency. It was built for power. From its enslaved foundation to its hidden tunnels, from its fires to its darkest decisions, the mansion was designed to protect truths the world will never fully know. And that's why the White House matters. Not because it is perfect or pure, but because it is human. A reflection of America's beauty and its contradictions, its victories and its sins. Every wall carries a story. Every room holds a memory. Every tunnel hides a piece of history time tried to erase. The White House is more than a home, more than a symbol, more than a monument. It is a living story, one that watches, waits, and remembers. And if you want to hear more of the stories whispered beneath history's floorboards, the ones buried under dust, politics, and time, then stay with us. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to Legacy Untold, where the past isn't repeated, it's revealed.